Do you also feel like the deep erosion of humanity is somehow connected to the algorithmic funneling of reality? Totally, man. It's like it goes beyond AI scripted feedback loops, congratulatory facial dysmorphia, contrarian lunatics, and just the whole thing feels like it's speeding straight into a red light with no one at the wheel. Totally, dude. It's like it's hard to have hope, you know? Oh, for sure, and it's even harder to talk about without ironically relying on the aforementioned funneling mechanisms to ever be heard, you know? Not to mention catering the message according to the playbook and thereby defeating the purpose of raising your voice in the first place. Because then we're stuck feeding the very same beast. Maybe we're the fools for thinking that talking is the way. Maybe.
Hello there. Happy New Year to you. I've brought you out here to talk about something I've been thinking about for a long time. The future of music. So, is music ever going to be what it was? Is music on the decline? Is music dying? Is art dying? Are we all being replaced by, you know, the deal, technology, AI, all that stuff? Well, as I've alluded to in that intro, my outlook isn't particularly... It's not a particularly hopeful one on the one hand, but that depends on, or depends upon, I think it's proper English, I don't know, you correct me please. Do we need sort of monolithic, centralized, big business music industry where household names are household names? Do we need household names? Do we need charts? Do we need... Because here's the thing I wanted to get into. I am obviously a big fan of music. I love music. I listen to a lot of music. But I don't think I know what's popular these days. I know Taylor Swift is big. I know that. But honestly, I don't keep up with music. I live in my bubble of music being recommended to me by friends. Some algorithmic stuff too. Like, I get shown something that I think looks interesting. I check it out. It is interesting or it isn't. And I go down that rabbit hole. And that's already, it's based obviously upon my taste. And it's catered to me and my little bubble of experience, my bubble of reality, my bubble of music. And that's kind of my point. Is music now... We live in bubbles. We all do. I don't know even what. Do we have shared reality anymore? Do we have a shared culture? I mean, I'm speaking to you. You're probably not Swedish. You probably don't live near me. Yet somehow we find some common language, some common ground. And what is that? What are those values? What is that based on? I don't know. It's a new world, and in that sense, it's a new global world of shared bubbles. And I think what I realized last year, or not realized perhaps, but what became very evident to me and very tangible was that I was seeing Heitstrengning live, their final show before their hiatus. They played in a place called Dalhalla, which is, it's not easy to get to. It's not in a big city, it's in the middle of nowhere. Yet there were people on that show from all over the world. From all over the world. This obscure healing ritual, this pagan ritual essentially, sort of created to, and it's music. Some even call it metal, but it's certainly music, and it's certainly amazing, first of all, but also very far from what you'd consider mainstream music, culture, whatever. Mainstream values even. It's pagan, it's spiritual, it's something else if you compare it to Taylor Swift. Yet something like that in the middle of nowhere was able to gather a big crowd from all over the world. People paid good money. It took a lot of time to get to that show, to watch this performance. And I think that's it. I think that is the future of music. The future of music is global, but decentralized. I think it's more based around values, identities, shared values and shared identities that you may not necessarily find in your culture, in your sort of consensus reality where you live. You find it online. You find it through and with like-minded people, and you build online communities. You build a scene online. And I think because of that, it is no longer enough to be a musician, unfortunately. I think music is... Because music just for music, I think people who listen to just music, you have the casual listener, and I do worry that the casual listener is going to be one of those people to put on an AI track, maybe not know it, and just quote-unquote vibe to it. I fear that's going to be the case soon enough. And then you have the true fans, the people interested in music, active listeners, I guess. And I think they are going to seek out what they're interested in. But I think to be found in that, it's not just going to be enough to be good at music. You're going to have to be... And I think this is going to piss some people off. And it's... I mean, video killed the radio star, right? That was the idea. And I think the internet killed the musician and the video star in a sense, in that anyone can be a video star. There are no gatekeepers. So the competition to be an interesting video star it's different. It's a different world. And I think you have to have a personality that people are going to be interested in to rise above the talent, to rise above all the fantastic music available that is just fantastic music, but with no story, no angle. It's just music. But there's so much music. And it's so hard to just be discovered through only good music. And I think that is the harshest truth and the most difficult part of the future we're approaching. The fact that music is not enough. Music videos are not enough. You need to create... Hang on, I need to put on my gloves. There we go. You need to create, and I hate the word content, you need to produce information about yourself. I don't know, stories about yourself. You need to give people something to return to in their daily scrolling, in their daily consumption of the internet. You need to be a part of that loop, I believe, to stay relevant in the funneling mechanisms, the thing that you get presented to you. To be part of that, I think music is not enough. Your music will not be a part of that funneling mechanism unless you have more than just your music attached to you as a, again, terrible words, brand, attached to your brand. Unless there's more to your brand than just music, I think it's hard. I don't think you'll have much of a future in music, in these global bubbles. Maybe in your local scene you do, maybe playing shows. I can't speak to that. I don't know where you live, and I don't go to shows, so maybe that's totally different. But as a person putting music out online in the hopes that you'll be discovered and get a following and go on tour through that, I think you need to be an interesting person or bring something to the table, to a very large table with many, many dishes competing for attention. And I think you can look at that in two ways. I think either you're defeated by that fact and you turn bitter, I guess, about it and about the whole thing and the industry, or you embrace it. You embrace it and you find a way to adjust the rules of that playbook in order to turn that into something creative as well. Or maybe you partner up with someone who is good at that stuff and do find that to be their main creative outlet and main vehicle of expression, if you vehicle, and do something, embrace it. Because the truth is that this sort of, I think a lot of us in our heads have a golden age of music where you could just put out a record, get signed, put out a record, tour, make money, and keep that going. But I mean, that was, historically speaking, a very short window, and I know technology played a huge role in all that, just as it has now. You watching me is all thanks to technology. You hearing my music is definitely all thanks to technology, because I would never have been signed before, and definitely not been given a chance, because I wasn't even interested, and I am not interested in touring. So this medium didn't even exist, so there's that. But the point is that the landscape is changing. It's always changing. It always has been changing. So getting bitter about a window of opportunity that is now gone is understandable, because we're all prone to nostalgia. I know I certainly am, but that's not going to solve anything, really. Obviously. So get bitter or get creative. And I think that the future of music is fine. I think music as a phenomenon in our culture has changed, and I think our listening has changed. We don't sit down and listen to a record and do nothing but listen. But I think our whole world has changed, and certainly lives are much more on demand now with streaming. And I mean, when I grew up, I sound like an old man, but you had a few channels, and what was on Friday night at 8 o'clock is what you could watch Friday at 8 o'clock. And that was it. And I think that's done something to our minds as a society. And I think music has also been affected by that mentality shift. So we don't sit down and listen to just music as a thing to do on a Friday anymore. We consume it passively, or while we play video games, or I don't know what people do, I guess. But it's just a fact. So, yeah, the future of music is fine, but it's different. And it's probably not going to be like it was. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing yet. I know it's a new thing, and I know it's different. And I know that social media as a phenomenon for society, it's probably not a very good thing for our minds. But then again, what am I comparing that to? So yeah, to conclude, I think the future of music is probably fine, because as a musician, the opportunities to make music are incredible. If you're going to base the future of music on the top charts, the quality of the music in those charts, like top 10s and Rick Beato videos. I like Rick Beato, but yeah, you get my point probably. Then the future of music might look bleak, and it might look stagnant and not very creative and not very rich, but I don't think that's the place to look. And I don't think aspiring to get to that place is a particularly interesting artistic path anyway. And I think the future of music is fine, but decentralized and bubble-based. I think it's bubble-based. And I think it's much more based around values and coming together in these scenes that used to be local, but these days people don't leave their homes very much, and then don't go out and create scenes and hang out. They stay at home, apparently. That's what I'm told. So these scenes happen online. And they are big and they're global, but they're also invisible. But I think they're fine. I think finding one, connecting with one, authentically connecting with one, is a very viable path to, I don't know if success is the word, but exposure, I guess. And I don't know where the level for that exposure, where and when that will allow you to tour, if that's your goal. But in terms of listening hours, in terms of exposure, in terms of online exposure, in terms of building your brand and your name and your identity as a musician or band, I think these bubbles are viable, and I think they are the new scenes, and I think that's where the future of authentic music is. It's all about finding these networks or creating these networks. Like, I have long dreamed of creating my own label, for example, but building these projects from the ground up like we always did. They just look different. That's what I think. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and please stay safe out there and take care. And thank you so much for watching and for following along for the past however long you've been with me. I really, really appreciate you, and have a great 2026. Thank you. Bye-bye.